Happy Pride Month, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is all about queer cinema. So it's Pride Month. I was thinking, what should I talk about? What do I think would be fun and fresh this Pride Month? And my Pride Month gift to you all is ranking every single queer gay movie that I've watched. So there's only 15 on this list, but I thought that it would be so fun to get drunk and to talk about gay cinema. If you haven't already, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into it.
Am I also in queer media?
Yeah.
Maybe?
At number 15, we have Love, Simon. So Love, Simon was such a big deal when it came out. I feel like everybody was talking about it. I definitely saw it in theaters. It felt revolutionary at the time. Now that time has passed and better movies have come out since. It's kind of lost its flavor, lost its spice. I don't think it's being really held up in the highest regards in terms of queer cinema, but it's also not bad. Like, it's not a bad movie. I saw somebody on TikTok say that Love, Simon is for straight people, and I think that I would have to agree with it. It's very palatable, very surface level, very we love you as you are type vibes. But this is no shade to Love, Simon or Nick Robinson. This is it's just not my favorite. Moving on to another very forgetful tale, but a movie that I watched also in high school is Carol. Carol, if you have forgotten, is basically about this lesbian romance in the 50s, I believe, and there's like an age gap. It's an older woman with a younger woman. It was, again, a very big deal at the time. The thing about Carol is just that, like, it's straight up forgettable. When I was making this list, I forgot that Carol even existed. And this is a genre of movie I'm not going to say that I hate, but it's not my favorite. And this is movies that are designed to win Oscars. When I watched this movie, at the time when I still watch this movie, it's cinematically great. You know, costume design, acting choices, all of that is great. But it's just like missing heart. It's missing spice. It's just very white to me. Is that bad to say? It's not a bad movie. But am I rewatching Carol? No, I'm not rewatching Carol. Take a moment for this drink. This is peach juice and blue curacao. Moving on to number 13. This is a hot take. But 13 is gonna be the new Luca Guadagnino movie, Queer. I watched Queer with my gay bestie Jose in theaters, and I liked it. My favorite part of the movie was actually the 5-minute long shot of Daniel Craig's character Lee shooting up to the song Leave Me Alone by New Order, because I just like that song. I just like, when I saw it in theaters, I was like, oh my god, I love this song. Maybe not appropriate for the scene that was happening, but I like, in terms of Luca Guadagnino movies, like, he can't make a bad movie. And when I think about this movie and the symbolism and, you know, what it meant, like, you know, the word disembodied, there's so much to dissect when it comes to this movie. And, you know, drug use, homosexuality in the 50s, white people going to Mexico and living the lavish lifestyle because Americans. But the thing is this is not a movie for me. Like, Jose loved it. When we walked out of the theater, Jose loved it, and I was like, this is a good movie, but this isn't for me. You ever watch a movie and you're like, this is objectively good, but this is not my movie. This is not a movie that speaks to me. This is not a movie I'm going to rewatch. This isn't for me. And I recognize that I think Queer is for a very specific demographic, and I think that demographic would like this movie. But it's just not for me. Drew Starky, if you're watching this, what a beautiful man you are. I was telling my friend this at the time. I could never really tell how Drew Starky's character felt about Daniel Craig. Like, some days, some moments I thought he was really into him. Other times his vibe was like, get this old drunk man off of me. And but also I think that, you know, the dynamic of older men and younger men in queer dynamics is definitely one that I'm not qualified to speak on. But I think it's prevalent in the queer community. And so again, Queer is a good movie. Queer is just not for me. Now this next one is Aja pushing it, putting this on here. Maybe not. High School Musical 2. Okay, hear me out. High School Musical 2, but it's Ryan and Chad. Okay, is it insane work on my part to put Ryan and Chad above an actually established queer couple? Maybe. He is in theater, he sings, he dances. Clearly Chad doesn't like that. I mean, he barely likes it when Troy does it. He really doesn't like it when anybody else does it. He also doesn't like Sharpay. So we already have that tension. And this tension is building to a head until we get High School Musical 2, where we get this entire dance number talking about batting and swinging for different teams. That one scene where it's like Ryan and Chad and they're going off, and he's like, you don't think dancing takes a little game? Guys, this is the gay love story of our generation. If you're born between 98 and 03, this was our queer representation, and it still is. And then after they swapped clothes. So I'm just saying, like, this is my list, okay? These are my favorite queer couples. So if I say that Ryan and Chad are together, then Ryan and Chad are together. Next up, we have Atypical. So Atypical, this, again, similar to High School Musical 2, this storyline is kind of B-plot to the main plot of Atypical. Atypical's not about the couple in question. It follows this autistic boy named Sam and his life ups and downs, but his sister Casey has her own self-discovery moment with Izzy, and I remember at the time eating this up. I already like the show Atypical, but then you throw in a queer love story, a lesbian love story at that. Asha's gonna lose her mind. I was rewatching some clips in preparation for this video, and the scene where Casey and Izzy are dancing and Casey is like all up in her space. Oh my god, had me feeling stuff. I really like how the storyline was done. I think it like shows the nuance of like sometimes you fall in love with somebody when you're still with somebody else, and nobody's really at fault for that. That's just like life and being human and being a teenager. And you know, I definitely I felt bad for Casey's boyfriend, but I was also like, I need you and Izzy to kiss right now. And then when they finally kiss, another scene that altered my brain chemistry, when they're on the track, cold air coming out of their mouths, and Izzy is bearing her soul, saying, I came to you as a friend. There's really no other two like them. Hottest couple ever. Netflix knew what they were doing when they graced us with Casey and Izzy on our screens. My only request is that we had more of them. But I love their enemies to lovers arc and storyline. They are number 11 for that exact reason. For just, I don't know. Like in terms of like my brain chemistry, I definitely think watching two young lesbian teens as a teen definitely influenced me in a positive way. Next up, we have Heartstoppper. Heartstoppper literally changed everybody's life, literally changed the trajectory of the young queer community. What I have to say about Heartstoppper is that I think that all criticism I'm about to say about Heartstoppers aside, Heartstoppers is such an essential and important show for youth. It is so healthy for gay youth to be represented on TV in a healthy, positive way that's like non-sexual and non-traumatic. So much of gay cinema, as you are about to see as we work our way up this list, is traumatic. Somebody dies. We can't be together. Our parents don't accept us. Like, it's very doom and gloom when it comes to pieces of queer media. Heartstoppper, I feel like, is the first mainstream popular gay show that has pretty much like all aspects of, you know, the LGBTQ spectrum in a positive way, targeted at kids that's non-sexual. Now, granted, even though that is my praise of Heartstoppper, that's also my critique of why it's not really for me. I definitely liked it when I first watched it. I watched it when it came out when I was a sophomore in college. But as I kept going, I kind of felt like I was getting older and the show was still for kids. And by the time like the last couple seasons came out, I'm just like, I'm too old for this. I'm too old to watch kids fall in love, guys. I can't do it anymore. But I still think that this show is so important. And I read all of the comics. I love the comics. I could reread the comics right now if I wanted to. Sometimes a small part of me likes the comics more than the TV show, but I know that that's blasphemy. Also, Kit Connor said my name once. He said my name once because my friend at the time who lived in London saw him, ran into him in the streets, and I asked her to ask him to say my name. So I might put that clip in right here, but yeah. Love Heartstoppper. Love Kit Connor. Next up, we have Call Me By Your Name. The thing about Call Me By Your Name is that when it came out, I loved that movie. I thought it was like, I did theater in high school, so I was a theater kid. I thought that that was peak acting. I thought that that was peak cinema. Like, you couldn't tell me anything about Call Me By Your Name. In time, my main critique is that I just feel like it's not a love story. I actually feel like it's a tragedy. I feel like Elio was taken advantage of by Oliver. 17 and 25 is insane. That's an insane age gap. I'm 22 and I wouldn't date a 17-year-old. And I sort of feel like watching it now as an adult, I'm of the perspective that I feel like Oliver came to Italy to have this queer experience, to explore himself, to explore his sexuality, and he used this child to, you know, explore that facet of himself. And then he left knowing that Elio was in love with him, knowing that Elio wanted more because he's 17, he doesn't know any better, and then going back to America and then being with his girlfriend, leaving Elio traumatized. And when I was in high school, I feel like this story was presented to me as like, oh, it's just the travesty of the time that they can't be together. And that's definitely like part of it. Like, obviously, like, being gay was not accepted in the time period of this movie, which I believe is the 80s. But I also feel like if it were another teenager, I think I would just have a completely different take on it. But I feel like when you're 25, you know better. You know what this is going to do to his brain, so like, why even go down that road? But also at the same time, I think that it takes those adult eyes to see it in that way. Maybe the movie isn't even really trying to be a romance. Maybe the movie is maybe the movie's just trying to be nuanced to the human experience, which is very Luca. Luca loves all facets of the human experience, clearly. And maybe it's just trying to say, like, this is Elio exploring himself, and what this, you know, older adult is doing is also kind of inappropriate, but that's human nature. Sometimes humans are inappropriate. Sometimes humans do really bad things. And maybe we're not supposed to root for their love. Maybe we're not supposed to want them to be together. But regardless, watching it as an adult, I can't be like, oh, so cute, so romantic. Because it's really not romantic. But it's also simultaneously like a cinematic masterpiece with layers that could be analyzed and interpreted. So that's why it's this high on this list. Above it, we have Brokeback Mountain. I was originally going to do a whole video on Brokeback Mountain. Guys, I can't watch Brokeback Mountain again. It's gonna literally tear through my heart. My main thing about Brokeback Mountain is that I think the homophobia of the early 2000s comes out no more clearly than with Brokeback Mountain. I kind of feel like people still to this day kind of think that this movie is a joke. It's not really a movie that people take seriously because of internalized homophobia. This movie's devastating. I don't know why people think that this is some funny gay cowboy movie. This movie, every time I watch it, I feel empty on the inside. And this is kind of a movie where it's like sort of tragic for everybody involved. It's tragic for Jack and Ennis. It's tragic for their wives. It's tragic for their kids. It's just like an all-around tragic movie with a tragic ending. But also, would you believe it if I told you that I have a whole paper on Brokeback Mountain in Spanish? When I was studying abroad in Spain, I took this environmental class, and for our final, I wrote my paper on Brokeback Mountain and how the landscapes of Wyoming symbolized his freedom, because essentially my main argument was that they were only ever able to be together in the countryside, and every time they went to the city they were not able to be together. And I analyzed the different greenery and trees in the countryside and talked about what that vegetation looks like in the city. So yeah, fun side tangent. But yes, I think that Brokeback Mountain is a really underrated masterpiece in terms of gay cinema. It's one of the most popular, but like a scene that's etched into my head is when Ennis's wife catches Jack and Ennis kissing in the hallway. Like, every time I watch it, it feels like a punch to my stomach. I feel like I just watched my husband cheat on me. Next up, we have Nevertheless, Seoul Ji-won. This is a couple that I think nobody cares about but me, but this was a side couple plot from the Netflix K-drama Nevertheless, and I was obsessed with this romance. Like, I loved everything about it. I loved that they were both artists. I loved that one was into sculpture. The push and pull of them basically already being in a relationship but just not having the title because they don't know how to. I remember one really, really funny scene is that I believe Seoul is on a date and then she brings Ji-won with her, and the guy is just kind of there like, this is absolutely insane. This is ridiculous. I just think that they're the cutest. I could watch compilations of them together for days. I wish that Nevertheless got another season so we could see more of them. Oh my god, the scene where she's drunk and she's like, I love you more than I love my parents. Number 6 is The Handmaiden. The Handmaiden, like most psychological thrillers, is like a movie you watch once and then never again. It took me like 2 watches to watch The Handmaiden just because it was so intense and it was like giving me anxiety. That one scene of the 2 main love interest being intimate for the first time, and she asks if she would like her to continue, I feel like has been on all over Twitter for years. This movie is kind of difficult to follow, but if you can follow it, I think it's an incredible psychological thriller. I think that it has layers, it has so many elements of just culture to it, and yeah, if you can follow the plot, I think The Handmaiden is, I would say, like a lesbian cinematic masterpiece. Love The Handmaiden. Next up, we have Challengers. Now, if you know anything about me, you know Challengers is literally my favorite movie of all time. I'm obsessed with Challengers. Challengers is queer cinema. Don't play in my comments and pretend like Challengers is not queer cinema. Luca Guadagnino said that for all good love triangles, every single point of the triangle has to touch, and you cannot see that more clearly than in Challengers. Art and Patrick are meant like 2 boys and they kiss. Like, their dynamic, they're like, bear with me, people. We know that Patrick taught Art how to masturbate. That means that Patrick is Art's first sexual experience. That definitely sets the tone for their relationship, and I think throughout the movie, the way that they push and pull, play with Tashi, play with each other, I think is all very queer coded. This movie is very queer in the subtext. you might leave the theater wanting more, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't clear. That means that you didn't pay attention enough. Because some people will walk out of there and be like, tale as old as time, two boys fighting over a pretty girl. This is not a tale as old as time. Yes, they were fighting over a pretty girl, but they also were fighting over each other and resisting the urge to kiss the whole time. If you want to see me rant on Challengers, go watch my Challengers video. Next up, number 4, we have Young Royals. Young Royals had me delulu. I watched it when I was abroad in Spain, and watching Wilhelm and Simon's love had me convinced that I was about to enter that when I was going to come back to the States, and I did not. And I was very sorely disappointed when I found out that I had no Simone waiting for me back when I came back from being abroad. Boulder Remain Sane is like ultimate love. Like, I would walk around Spain bumping that, feeling like I was a main character in my own coming of age movie. It definitely set the vibes. Like, I was in Spain, it takes place in Sweden, set the vibe for me to be young, free, feeling like I was in Young Royal. This show also had me very stressed. This is a love show, a queer love show. We're missing a lot of the love. We have bits and pieces, but it also, the love, I feel like, is very realistic in that way, in those ups and those downs. But you could always, I feel like their pull to each other was very strong throughout the entire show. Like, you could always tell that they were meant to find their way back to one another. And yeah, that's why it's so high. But also, I will say, I'm not sure if anybody remembers this, but in one of the first scenes, there's a couple scenes in the first episode of Young Royals that almost made me stop watching. One of them was when it was, I think, Felice. We open the scene with her sticking her hand down her pants, and then she uses the same hand to touch her friend's hair and face. It's like, put that nasty hand away, go wash it or something. I don't know why they included that. And then also when they made Wilhelm drink spit, I have to block it out. When I recommend Young Royals, I encourage people to skip past it because literally almost made me close the laptop. Number 3, so we're in the top 3 now, so lock in. These are my favorite queer movies of all time. Number 3 is But I'm a Cheerleader. I love But I'm a Cheerleader. I watched this in high school and it literally changed my life. It is so camp, it is so funny. Like, you might hear the storyline of like 2 girls falling in love at conversion camp and think that it's sad, but it's actually so romantic. It's so funny. RuPaul is the leader of this conversion camp. Melanie Linsky is in it. I love But I'm a Cheerleader. I also, when I was in London, I saw the stage version of But I'm a Cheerleader, and it was the most fun experience of my life. It was so funny. I think I still have the program. I do still have the program. Look at that. Natasha Lyonne, gay icon to the stars. Number 2 is Scam Season 3. Isak and Evan. I'm going to be thinking about Scam, all of Scam, on a repeat in my brain until I die. Scam, I've been meaning to do a full Scam deep dive on this channel, but sometimes I feel like nobody in America watches Scam. So what good would it do for me to talk about Scam in total? I love how the first season of Season 3 of Scam is all about self-discovery and self-acceptance and Isak's journey to accepting his sexuality. And then the second half is all about mental health. And I feel like I got schooled a lot of the times on mental health in that show. When Magnus, Isak's friend, just tells him that Evan's not brain dead just because he's bipolar, literally changed my brain chemistry. I think that what sucks about Season 3 of Scam is that I personally feel like you should watch Seasons 1 and 2 first. And it's really hard to recommend it to people, to be like, hey, before you can get to this awesome, amazing season, you need to watch Season 1 and 2. But Season 1 and 2 of Scam are like also great. Personally, I think Season 2 is better than Season 1. My favorites are seasons. Like, my favorite seasons of Scam go like 3 is my favorite, then 4, then 2, then 1. But I watched Season 3 first without watching 1 and 2, and there's so many scenes that like don't make sense, so many dynamics, so many friendships that don't make sense if you don't watch 1 and 2, and there's so much more of a payoff if you watch 1 and 2 first. And I don't want to like speak too much about Scam because it literally is a masterpiece, and I think that you need to watch it all on your own, none of my input. But I love Scam. Let me know if you think I should do a full Scam deep dive. I've tried filming it before, but let me know, comment down below. And then number 1, my favorite queer movie of all time is Bottoms. Bottoms is incredible. Bottoms is written by Aja.Samuel and Rachel Sennett, and it is one of the funniest movies that I've ever watched. Also, it's like so for the lesbians. The concept of a fight club just to get pussy is so funny, so I don't want to say 21 Jump Street. I've never watched 21 Jump Street, but like, you know, like very like bro-y, but also so funny, so gay, so I can't. Who's doing it like Aja.Samuel? Nobody's doing it like her. Also, Havana Rose Liu, I saw her live on Broadway in All Nighter. She's incredible actress. That kiss between her and Aja.Samuel, it gives me butterflies every single time. Also, there's such a funny line in that movie when she goes into her room and she's like, I love God. Funny, it's witty, it speaks to queer culture at large. It's absurd. The ending is absurd. All of them on the football, like killing an entire football field, killing an entire football team. It's also similar to how I said that there's so much gay trauma in cinema. Like, this is the opposite of gay trauma. This is just gay shits and giggles. Those are my favorite queer movies of all time. I know that I need to watch more. I need to catch up. If you have any queer movies that I have not mentioned, please be sure to comment them down below. If you have any, queer movie that you'd like to see me analyze, if you'd like to see me analyze Scam, please comment down below. I love you all so much. Thank you so much for watching this video. Have a very, very, very happy Pride Month, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.
Okay, hi Aja.